So Ashoka Tano finally makes her long-awaited appearance on The Mandalorian. This, of course, is the fifth episode of season two, titled "The Jedi." And Rosario Dawson plays the iconic role. Now, what was my thoughts on Dawson? How she, you know, played the role. At first, looked really awkward. Gotta tell you, because we all know the image. We've seen her in animated form, especially in the Clone Wars, animation, and it's like you see her in live. It's not animated. It's not a caricature. It's not in cartoon form or drawn form or anything. And at first, it looked really offsetting because it looked like someone doing cosplay and just swinging the double sabers around, But as the episode went on, especially when you see her interact with the child, I started getting into it. I started realizing that, wow, she really is doing this role, very, very well. I mean, I grew to like her, and she does, like I said, fit the role. And it was a very acceptable performance, and I have to give it to Rosario Dawson for taking up the role. It's a difficult one to fill, and I am sure it'll be scrutinized by die-hard fans of the character. I gotta admit, I've never heard of the character. I was so old school Star Wars fan. Oscar Tano, was introduced via the and the Star Wars animations and stuff like that. So I heard of her, and then when I saw the animations, I was like, okay, that's who that is, and very interesting character, very unique look, and makes her debut here. And of course, that's who the Mandalorian is looking to find, because with her, he could leave the child with. And when he does, I mean, at first he comes in contact with a magistrate, and her name was revealed as Morgan Elsbeth, and she was a Clone War survivor. And through her anger, she created a entire industry. And she's aided by a guy named Lang, and Lang was played by, at first, I go, man, he's giving off a vibe like Michael Biehn, and Michael Biehn, of course, is not the young guy we used to see in Terminator and in Tombstone and movies like that. So when I saw him, he looks familiar. That's Michael Biehn, I think. And then at the end, when I see the credits, it's Michael Biehn. And then we see, the magistrate, and actually is played by Diana Lee Inosanto. And Diana Lee Inosanto is the daughter of Dan Inosanto, who is a practitioner of various martial arts. Also was the first student ever elevated to instructor of Jeet Kune Do. Of course, Jeet Kune Do is created by Bruce Lee, those of you who know. And where she gets the Lee from in her name, she got it from her godfather, and her godfather is or was Bruce Lee. So I thought I recognized her. I said, maybe I've seen her in another movie or another show, and I saw her name, and I'm going, oh, that's who she is, because it's rare for me to see her in any film. I've not seen her in any movie. She did films like in earlier in her career. She may do some things here and there. I don't follow her career, but She played her and very well. I mean, he had a great fight scene. Her with the Beskar staff. It was staff made out of Beskar, and with Ashoka Tano with her double sabers or double lightsabers. So they had a fight, and it was very good. I liked how they were trading strikes here and there, and she was disarmed, Ashka Tano, from her one of her sabers, and then she was able to take the Beskar staff away from her, and then she asked her, "Take me to your master." And the whole thing, of course, was the interactions between Tano and Ashoka, what's happening? Ashoka and Tano and Child, and she ends up finding out through their, their interactions. You see them sitting, looking at each other. You see the child moving his hands, and she's just looking at him intently. And she reveals that his name is Grogu. So we find out his real name, and I think I'll still refer to him as the child. I mean, a lot of us are probably going to do it. A lot of us still want to probably call him Baby Yoda. I don't know how people are going to feel about the name, because Grogu is, it could be considered a little cute. Like it'll still thing. And what I love about the interaction between Mando and him after he found out, when he said Grogu, you see the child look up right away, like that's his name. But the thing about it that is because of his, what happened was, really the story behind him. This is what Ashoka Tano found out, is that he was trained for many years at a Jedi temple by many masters, and at the end of the Clone Wars, when the Empire took over, he was hidden. He was taken, and his memory became dark. And she says that the only other person that she ever met with his type of power, and that's a callback to the the Star Wars, old school Star Wars fans. And old school Star Wars is, she mentions Yoda. So Yoda is mentioned. A lot of nods to the history of Star Wars. And this takes place 50 years after the fall of the Empire. So you're going to get a lot of callbacks to to that generation. And this makes you wonder what's going to happen with the child, with Grogu, and as he grows. And, he was actually sent by the magistrate to kill Ashoka, and he did it. He even tells her, and then they decide to confront the magistrate and their soldiers, whatever you want to call them. And then what happens is that he holds up his end. She says, "I can't train him," because she revealed that that she couldn't train him, because at first he hid his abilities over the years to survive. And then this goes into back to when she tried training him, and she had like a little thing with the rock. She forced the rock over to him using the Force, and then he just looked at it and dropped it. Now Mando did a clever thing. He tried it with the rock, didn't work. He took that little ball spherical thing that is on top of that gear shift, I guess what you call that. And he goes, "Hey, you want this? You want this? Come on, take it." And then he uses the Force, and he retrieves it. Later on, as per their agreement, he said, "Hey, I did my end," and she goes, she couldn't train, she couldn't, well, I mean, because, yeah, well, she, before the last part, where, what they talked about when it came to training him, after initially testing him out, then, she tells Mando that she can't train him due to his attachment to him, and makes him vulnerable to his fears. And then Ashoka talks about how she has seen it happen to stronger Jedis, where they have fallen I guess fall into to the dark side, or they've become weak because of their attachments. We've seen that in Star Wars in the past and what's happened, like to Anakin Skywalker and all others who have this has happened to. They're very strong. So for the end, they end up having a discussion. I did my end. Now you gotta do your end. And she says, well, she says that well, I can't train him, but there's something else that we could try. And she says, to go to planet Titan, where he will find an ancient ruins of a temple that has strong connection to the Force. And then told him to place him on a seeing stone on top of the mountain. And then Bando's like, what's next after that? And then he goes, well, Grogu will seek his own path. And then if he reaches out through the Force, there's a chance a Jedi may sense his presence and come searching for him. Then again, she says, there are not many Jedi left. They part ways. She tells him, may the Force be with you. Always good to hear. Always nice to hear that call back to Star Wars, that we know. Makes you feel like you are definitely watching Star Wars, a time that's connected to the past. And then he, and all the child go off, and Ashoka Tano and gives a nod to Grogu, and off they go. And I really enjoyed this episode. Like I always say, I enjoyed this, but this was probably the best episode. Love the interaction between child Grogu and Ashoka Tano, and I love the fight scenes. I love her action sequences. I love how she showed her skills. The doubles, with the doubles lightsabers, kind of like shades of, Darth Maul. And I think Rosario Dawson did a great job. Started off pretty rough because it's just like this is an iconic character, and like I said, it looked like I was watching a parody at first because it looked like just somebody who was in all the makeup and everything, just pretending to be Ashoka Tano, But then she slowly but surely pretty much kind of just disappeared into her role, and I just don't know how people are gonna take it. There's a lot of the people that are the diehards and the ones who this is their character. There's their end all be all character for Star Wars, and it's like you better do it right. And you know how they're not satisfied. You know how they act. She could have given out the best performance that you can as Ashoka Tano, and they're gonna be like, why her? Why did she have to do? Oh, so and so could have did it better. Yeah. I mean, that's how people are. The whole thing with Gina Carano and the controversy about what she said, and people are clamoring for her to be fired, and people are saying that Sasha Banks, who appeared in the last episode as one of the Mandalorians, or Mercedes Bernardo as she's credited here in Mandalorian, they want her to replace her, and then I'm pretty sure people are gonna say, oh, she could be Cara Dune, or something. I think somebody did say that, and it's just like, you can't be shuffling people around just because you want that. If you want that so badly, make it yourself. Make the episode yourself. Do a fan based thing and do it yourself. But I think she did a good job, and like I said, it's an iconic character. Hard to fill shoes. These type of shoes, when it comes to certain characters, and you have to pull it off. I think she did. I think she did very well. And this may not be the last time we see of her, but according to Sasha Banks, she actually said, I saw one of the headlines said that she said that that was the only time you're going to see her. But I thought she was credited with like 8 episodes. I thought I saw that in the IMDb or wherever it was, but maybe they just misquoted. I don't know what it was. But anyway, that's my rundown and my thoughts, or my recapping thoughts. My recapping thoughts of The Mandalorian, Season 2, Episode 5, Chapter 13, entitled The Jedi. Very good episode. and I enjoyed it very much. So those of you who stopped by and checked out my video, appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.